Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like we're heading for a very tough times ahead. And guys, I'm not talking about any political or current affairs that are going on in the different countries. I'm purely right now, guys, talking about the inflation and price increases. So the previous year, 2023, the inflation rate was 2.2%, yet the prices on average in the supermarkets increased by 17.5%. Trouble is, guys, the prediction for inflation for the next year is actually 3.4%, and this is, guys, on the top already high prices. As we know, when things are happening, even with inflation last year being lower, we know that the prices have not actually gone down, nor they're intending going down. The only way, unfortunately, is up. So people are already cutting down on spending, and it brings up the question, which I think I covered before once in the video, is actually prepping becoming very much unaffordable? And I did mention a little while ago as well that I've started noticing that there's certain cheaper or supermarket brands have been disappearing off the bottom shelf. And hey presto guys, I have actually now seen the reports that's confirming that now supermarkets are actually taking off their budget brands off the bottom shelves of the supermarket. So what is currently happening for the people that are relying on those cheap brands just to get by, we're not even talking about prepping, they're actually unable to do so because supermarkets are very greedy and they want to take them off the market to make people spend more money on the weekly shop. Trouble is, already last year, the whole apparent increase in price for a year for the shopping increased by £280 per household. But guys, we know for fact, depending obviously how you shop, but we know real well that our weekly shop is pretty much doubled. So it brings me down to the question, guys, yes, the preparedness stuff, it kind of looks it's going to be very tough to go forward in terms of stocking up, because as a prepper myself, guys, you probably all know, I normally buy a majority of the stuff as at the bottom supermarket shelf, because as an affordability point of view, the supermarket brands are genuinely cheaper, and obviously if it's something that you're intending to stockpile, then of course the price plays an important role. However, again, guys, looking through the reports there, I found out the highest supermarket increases. So I've got in front of me, okay, this is a list for the August year on year, and this is a list of supermarkets, okay, and how much their prices increased. So believe this or not, of course, Tesco has got the highest increase at 3.2% year on year. To be fair, not surprised, because they really report a yearly record profits, literally by billions. So the next one afterwards is actually Sainsbury's at 3%, Lidl not too bad at 2.9%, Asda 2.7%, Ocado 2.4%, and Morrison's 2.1%. So this is just general increases. And then you delve in a bit deeper, okay, and you have a look how much is truth in the fact of obviously them taking away the supermarkets, the bottom shelves, and actually in terms of price increases. As I mentioned to you before, again, doing observations for the videos in terms of prices, the bottom lines have been going up. So, unfortunately, the own label budget brands have gone up by 7.3%. We know this from many things like tomato sauces, tomato passatas, and many other bits that were really cheap, but now actually gone up quite a lot. So the own label brand gone up by 7.3%. So the branded goods only gone up by 2.4%, the own label standard 2.7%, and the own label premium by 3.1%. So we can see clearly the budget brands are actually catching up the supermarket or the top leader brands. Obviously, we know it is done totally intentionally. Yes, in a certain products, guys, obviously things are affected by the weather, by the fuel, those kind of things, the things that are currently going on around us, which we already know. But the fact is, though, that you can clearly see that supermarkets are trying to coin in and increase their prices. So talking about now the things that increase the most in prices, guys, and of course, you'll probably be aware the first one would have been olive oil, which is pretty much double in price, so 100% over the space of a year and a half. But things like hot beverages, and they're talking about, I think, cocoa and specifically, gone up by 25%. I remember, guys, doing the video like quite a few months back, talking because there was going to be a cocoa shortages. So there's things like a chocolate and cocoa powder, hot drinks, anything that involves the chocolate will be going up in price. So hey presto, obviously the report pointed out that things gone up on average by 25%. So things like olive oil, yes, I already mentioned. So the carrots, fruits, guys, if you watch the our Sunday chat with Mark, so carrots are reportedly increased by 23%, cucumbers gone up by 22%, okay? So you can see how massive increases that we have to deal with on a yearly basis. There are obviously other things, guys, that are not reported, but things like the eggs, like dairy, we all know it is pretty much doubled in price. So as for the next year, guys, for the 2025, as I said, the inflation is predicted at approximately 3.4%. They know for fact, or they say for fact, that things like sugar itself and confectionery are going to increase by 3.4% as well. Soft drinks are predicted about 2.3, 2.5%, and the beef predicted to go up to 4.5%. Again, we all know, right, that those figures are just the predictions, and we know that it's going to get far worse. Because already the prices of meat increased by far more than what they suggested earlier, because I think the percentage I've seen, it was 1.8% increase on the meat. Well, we know, guys, that is definitely not that. I think they've probably gone up roughly, I would say about 20%, if not more in certain cases. So basically putting all of that together, guys, right, the predictions that olive oil, I think 99% of us now actually stopped buying olive oil because it's pretty much unaffordable. We know obviously olive oil used to come from Greece, from Spain and from Italy. Well, at the same time, you'll probably be aware that Italy been hit with a lot of floods. So now they are projected to have a very big issue with the wheat and actually with the pasta production. I'm not even taking the olive oil into account because, well, it's just not going to happen anyway. And then things like tomatoes as well. And then, of course, guys, we're not even covering the whole current situation, the economical situation, what's happening in the world, because we know all of that is actually going to be affecting prices as well as shortages too. So can you imagine now, my point is, guys, and I just thought about it after coming back from France and seeing the sort of cheaper prices, the more affordable prices that you can still potentially prep at, and then comparing to coming back to supermarkets here, looking at this and then thinking about this, just imagine, okay, having our prices increasing by another, say, 17 to 20%. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I think, guys, I know people always say this. We are going to be for very, very hard times. People always say this, but it's not getting easier. And we said this last year. I'm pretty sure I did the same similar video in terms of being really tough going forward. And yes, it was tough 2024, but guess what? 2025 is not going to be any better. So the point is now, guys, okay, we're talking about preparedness now. I'm not talking about preparing for any other economical thing. This video solely concentrates on making you aware and obviously preparing for things like inflation, high-rise prices, and potentially some shortages. So the point is that it's time to prepare now while some things are still available. I already started the series, How to Beat the Cost of Living Crisis, guys, and I think time is now, okay? Time is now to think about your preparedness for food. And to be fair, right now, I'm more thinking, because the tins are becoming quite expensive, things like this right now, guys, are gonna be our best friend. I've done a video before when I did a shop in Lidl with some root vegetables and things. Obviously, I told you how I can possibly preserve that. At the moment, okay, it's picking your moments of buying certain things and preserving them. And to be fair, at the moment, I'm not even suggesting getting a pressure canners or getting jars, because jars are stupidly expensive. I've got a pressure canner, I've got some jars left, but nowhere enough. So I am now rejigging my freezer and I'm reconcentrating, okay, and having some space ready, because I will be concentrating more on freezing certain things because, well, they take less space. And guess what, guys? I'll be taking you through with me, through my journey, from the things that are going to be changing, because you can prep affordably, okay, with the certain things if you prep clever and if you know what to do. So anyway, guys, right, if you find this video at all helpful, please don't forget thumbs up. Do subscribe. Obviously, this channel is all about preparedness in more ways than one. And hopefully, yes, hopefully enjoy this video, and I shall see you very soon. Bye-bye.